What are games that would only be for kids?
I mean, League of Legends is like an obvious one.
Okay, all right, I'm done. That's good. That was good enough.
You gave me a soft pitch over home plate.
Welcome to Boys Cast, but also for everybody's cast. Not just boys, but it's Boys Cast tonight for me and Chase because we're only boys in our domiciles.
Our homes have vacated any other gender other than the boys that currently inhabit them.
Yep, it's Boys Cast, aka Lonely Cast, aka I Need Someone to Love Me Cast.
This has taken a turn very quickly. We are 35 seconds into the podcast, and already it is sad. That did not take very long.
We're diving right into these sad minds.
David, last week we made a joke about Crunch Bandicoot getting announced.
He's here.
They done did it. They done announced it.
We done spoke it into existence, Chase.
Yeah,
we really did.
I want to steep in the possibility that maybe we're not just the video game Podtimists, but we're the video game like
prophets,
suit seers. We're the video game future speakers, time walkers, time splitters for all the video gamers out there.
We control the sands of time.
I think we can read a tea leaf. What would be the video game metaphor for seeing into the future?
You breathe like on the touchpad of a DualShock 4, and then whatever image comes out of that, like in the mist of your condensation from your breath, tells you the future.
And we saw Crunch Bandicoot 4 spoken to us through the voice of the future Sony.
What does he even sound like? I don't even remember his voice. Did he have a voice?
He didn't do a lot of vocalization.
All I remember is like the Ogombiga.
Whoa,
you know what I'm talking
that
about?
Was pretty good.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
That was pretty good. Yeah, it's the sound of him picking up like the mask.
Yeah, that for some reason that is seared into my memory.
I mean, I definitely got it when you said it, but I don't think I could have conjured it with quite that much confidence.
That's when I think Crash Bandicoot, Crunch Banderdunk, I think that sound Obondiga.
Yeah, Jesus.
Every time. First, because I always knew that things were about to go well for me if I had that mask on.
Yeah, you were in a good spot. Yeah, they announced the fourth one. Are you interested in this sidebar? Are you interested in another Crash Bandicoot?
I remember being like lightweight into Crash Bandicoot when I was a kid. I was never huge into him. I enjoyed the games, but it was all just kind of the same thing. And I don't know if I enjoy the running towards the screen mechanic for a whole game.
Perfect. I think they're probably going to have to do a lot of work to make it like a modern video game and not just like another 90s Crash Bandicoot. I
mean, they could do it. They I mean, throughout like I've been playing some of the Uncharted games again because of the free PlayStation Uncharted thing that they did.
Yeah.
They did like the whole entire Uncharted collection for free. And I've just never realized how many like sections of those games are like, oh, this is Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, no, they definitely lifted a couple.
They put a lot of that in there where it's just like, okay, run towards the screen. And it's still, there's something about the depth perception that's just...
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard, yeah. Which I think is what some people really enjoy about it. But I don't know. I guess I like to see what's coming and planning ahead as opposed to just reacting to things personally.
Yeah, fair.
But I mean, I'd like to see... I know there is a trailer out. I was not able to watch it because I've been at work all day.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Did you watch it?
Nah, man. I don't think I want to play another Crash Bandicoot. I'll see what
you
this
didn't even
looks
watch
like
the trailer.
No, I didn't. I'm a nasty
like,
boy. I'm sorry.
I'm out on this one immediately.
I had bought the Switch remaster.
How many times have you said that on this podcast?
Yeah, I know. It's almost every single episode.
I feel like every episode there's at least one.
I'll write like a stinger or like some kind of like deepen my voice when I say
Switch remaster.
And then I'll play that whenever I say it.
Okay, I'm into that.
I bought the Switch remaster. And I didn't like the Crash Bandicoots. I lost interest really quickly. I loved them back in the day, but like they just don't hold that much entertainment value anymore.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, haven't taken a look. We're 5 minutes in. We haven't mentioned the name of the fucking podcast. It's Video Game Podtimism. It's the Optimists video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming.
Crunch Banner Dunk.
The wonderful world of Crunch Bander Thunk.
Bander Thunk.
I am Chase, and I don't think I need another Crash Bandicoot in 2020.
I'm David, and I'm kind of curious to see where this leads.
You're Crash curious.
I'm Crash curious right now. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no.
Bandicurious?
Bandicurious?
That one rolls right off the tongue.
That doesn't work. That felt bad in slow motion. So I don't think possibly
be better sped up.
Bandicurious?
Have you been playing video games, David?
I have been, yes.
Tell me about those.
Okay, I've still been playing... Well, like, the two things I've still been playing have been Star Wars Battlefront 2. Single player.
Yes.
And now there's like a second part to the single player, which I don't know why it's like a second part to it. But now, instead of being like right after the end of the original trilogy, you're going to like the beginning of the sequel trilogies, like episodes 7 to 9, which they just finished, right?
Yeah.
So a little time skip, but still fun. It still just makes me so excited for Squadrons, because really just by far the most fun part of the game is getting in those ships and just flying around and blowing things up, and just the graphics are so good. And really, if you have a PlayStation, you should at least give this a download and just play around with the ships, because it really is just childlike glee when you get to be in there and just blow some things up. It's really great.
Yeah, they've released a little bit of footage of Squadrons, like the gameplay, since last we recorded, and I'm about it, man.
I'm jazzed. It's made me want to like invest $100 in one of those throttle and joystick controllers and just go 100% on my computer with it.
They're gonna make me fuck around and buy a VR headset for this. I think is what's gonna happen.
I might have to come to Seattle if you get that. just to play that game.
Gonna make me risk it all and catch the Rona, get on a plane and get up here.
Maybe risk it off with the Rona. Gotta get in that A-wing, baby.
Oh man, yeah, I really want that. Like the shots that they had of inside all the like planes,
all the instrumentation
really cool.
and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god,
so good. I never realized how much I wanted this.
I didn't either. I wouldn't have known to ask for this, but they're giving me what I deeply wanted, what I needed.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be a good one. I'm really optimistic about that game in particular.
Yeah.
So I've been playing Battlefront.
Yep.
And played just a shit ton of Divinity Original Sin this weekend, because Mallory is going to be gone for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I will be going up to Sacramento at some point for the 4th of July to see her and then bring her back.
Right.
So we had to get a lot of Divinity-ing in before she left.
Yeah.
I really feel like I'm not even close really to the end of that game yet. I'm maybe in I'm maybe like in the third to last chapter, it feels like. Maybe second to last.
Good God. You guys have got to be 100 hours in by now.
It's at least close.
Yeah.
Like I would say probably conservative estimate would be 95 hours.
Yeah.
We are deep in it.
Yeah.
We are deep in it right now. But still fun. It's still keeping me interested.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think I would have played this far if it was just me playing it, to be quite honest. But it's good. It's definitely a great time killer, especially. So that's been fun. And then like I mentioned before, I've been playing some of the old Uncharted's as well. And those are still really good. Uncharted's a game that's very near and dear to my heart, just because it's kind of everything I want from a game.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, right? Just action-y, good story, good characters, good dialogue. Doesn't feel like a video game story or dialogue. It feels like actual reality in a way.
Other
like
than
action
Nathan
reality.
Drake killing thousands of people.
Oh, he kills so many people. But I can suspend that. I can suspend that for everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are good games.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's about all I've been playing recently. How about you? What have you been playing?
I think there were other video games that I've been playing, but the only one that really is occupying my mind is The Last of Us. too.
I have that downloaded. I haven't played it yet because I knew Mallory was leaving. Yeah. And I was just like, I want to just dive into this when I don't feel like I'm ignoring my girlfriend, when I'm just going balls to the wall on this game.
That's pretty much what happened over the weekend for me.
Yeah.
For better or worse, was a lot of Last of Us.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready for it.
It's pretty good. I like this game a lot. It makes me feel bad, which is...
But like in a good way?
Parts of it. Parts of it are like this is like kind of interesting, and the story beats are fun. And other times they make you shoot dogs, and that doesn't feel great when the dogs cry.
Oh, no.
Worse yet, probably the worst experience in the video game so far is I'm stealthing around trying to like get people. Shoot somebody with a bow and arrow who has a dog next to them.
Uh-huh.
Person dies, dog doesn't know where it came from. Dog goes and like nudges the person like, hey, get up. What happened? What's going on here? And I was like, nah, I don't think I can do that.
That doesn't need to be in a video game.
No.
It does not need to be in a video game. That's messed up.
It's a little rough.
That's messed up. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, that was a tough section. And like, I think the game itself is just fucking phenomenal. There's just parts of it that make me feel pretty bad. I have to like plug in my headphones to my PlayStation controller whenever M's in the room, so I don't like make her listen to the atrocities that I'm committing in this video game.
Sure. No, I'm real excited to play that game because I didn't play the first one until the remaster was, I think, for free on PlayStation.
So kind of recently, huh?
Pretty recently. Actually, yeah. I think I bought it when it was on sale, not when it was for free. So a little bit before. But man, that game was so good. It's
a quality video game.
I guess I just missed the boat on the PS3 for some reason.
Yeah, it came out sort of at a weird time, but yeah.
It did. And that's just the story is so immaculate.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job there. I mean, it's the same sort of thing in Uncharted, where it's like they'll have these very serious and sad conversations about somebody dying or like my parents getting killed, and then it's like, all right, well, let's go kill 20 men out here.
Mm-hmm.
So like you kind of have to suspend it a little bit, but...
And then they will have people who knew them who will talk about how they're sad they heard that they died, and then also go kill 20 people.
Yeah, exactly. So like there is a little bit of suspension of belief, and I think it makes more sense in the Last of Us world because like everything's fucked and like it's the apocalypse, and so like people would probably be a little more killy, but still there is a little bit of suspension of belief that has to happen there.
How are you feeling today? I'm feeling a little killy today.
A little murdery.
I'm feeling a little murdery today. You know, there's zombies. Things are fucked. I just want to murder.
I think I'm gonna go punch somebody with a knife.
That ain't called punching anymore, Chase. There's a different word for that.
Yeah, it's a different phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we'll probably do a little more talking about The Last of Us, but
yeah,
I'll save the rest of the thoughts for that.
I'm about to dive into it pretty much after this podcast, so
yeah.
Don't you worry.
So let's get this fucking show on the road.
Let's just end this thing. I'm over it already. I don't want to talk about anything else. This is the 15-minute podcast.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, 15-minute pod because I got to go play Last of Us too. Sorry.
So really the only other game that I've been playing is Animal Crossing, because when I feel terrible about myself, I can go back in there and feel okay.
The fucking duality of man.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, Tom Nook makes me all the things I did in The Last of Us feel a little bit better.
Because at least you're still not as bad as Tom Nook.
No, he just soothes my wounds. I'll go look at my debt and be like, you know what? It's going to be okay. I just got to pay these bills back.
You got people depending on you.
Sidebar, though, it is wild, The Last of Us 2 taking place so much in Seattle. Like, it's a very strange experience.
It's going to be, that's going to be weird. Because I've been to Seattle a couple of times, so I'm just curious to see what I recognize.
They definitely have, like landmarks that are pretty specific. I haven't seen the Space Needle yet. I bet they'll get there, but I haven't run into that guy.
Because the first one was in Boston, right? That was like the big city that they were in.
I think so.
They started off in Boston and then they went to like Montana or some shit.
Yeah. But this one, like, it takes you a second to get there, but like most of the game so far has been in Seattle. And they'll go to like another part of the city. I'm like, oh yeah, been there. That's a real place. Or like that's a train stop that they got off at.
What did you do if eventually you just like walk by your house?
I know. I keep looking for something like that where it's like it's not intended to be a big marker, but it's like, oh shit, that's that coffee shop that's over there, or there's a bookstore that's like this place or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's pretty great.
That's fun.
So that's going to lead me into the Podtimistic thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we've talked about this before as a Podtimistic thing, but it's the first party PlayStation video games. They've got a way about them, man. You
got me there. That is something that definitely brings me joy in this mortal coil.
Like I don't exactly know what they're sprinkling on them, but like some of the cutscenes in The Last of Us 2 have been like genuinely moving. Mm-hmm. Not just like, oh, that was cool or something like that, but like they kind of play with the effects of what's happening around them and shit, and like, oh god, it's crazy. I don't know of a lot of other games that are up to this caliber as far as like experiences go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of playing through God of War and just being kind of like in awe with some of the stuff that they were doing in there.
God of War was so fucking good.
Yeah, that game was phenomenal.
Man, I'm just coming off of that high of a Podtimistic thing just now. Just how good those... And Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is going to be so good.
Oh my god, yeah.
Going First around dilapidated San Francisco.
Very down. Very down.
That's going to be something special. My goodness. Oh, my Podtimistic thing this week. You're gonna love this one, Chase.
Okay, all right.
Remasters.
Switch remaster.
Not on the Switch.
Just remasters.
But yeah, because I guess just thinking about The Last of Us, I remembered, I played the remaster of The Last of Us, the first one.
Yeah.
That was a great game. Beautiful game. I probably wouldn't have played it if it hadn't gotten remastered for the PlayStation 4, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing the Uncharted collection.
Yep.
And it's just nice to be able to experience those games again, which has like a little bit better graphics. It's not anything revolutionary they did.
Yeah.
But just nice to be able to experience those stories again and go through those same beats again as it did before. And I know remasters get a lot of shit, and that's totally appropriate, I think.
Yeah,
Not everything needs a remaster.
Yeah.
But when they're done correctly and for specific games, I think they can be beneficial.
Yeah, it can bring like a new audience to games that maybe they didn't have a chance for.
Mm-hmm. Not GTA 5 on the PlayStation 5 though.
Oh my god,
that's ridiculous.
Dude. Can we be fucking done with this game?
It's ridiculous.
I'm so over it.
Like, why? How much more money do you think they can beat out of that game at this point?
Dude, realistically, I don't know. It's shocking to me that I see it on like the most profitable game list, like today. Like, it's still, people are dumping money into this game.
Like, it came out on the PlayStation 3.
3, yeah.
That was so long ago. So long ago.
I saw like a timeline of when the first couple of Grand Theft Autos came out, and it was shocking how quickly they were just like this one.
Back in the day when you was like every 2 or 3 years you're expected to make a sequel to your game if it was a success,
I think it's a couple of things. Is that it does seem to be a little bit easier to put out a AAA game back then. Like the level of polish I don't think was quite as high. It was great for the time, but just like compared to something like GTA 5, like there's just so much in that game. And so something like Vice City is great, and the like level design is fun. Clearly it's a huge game, but like it doesn't take as long to build as a GTA 5. That said, San Andreas came out 2 years after Vice City. Right. Come on, you guys. Yeah. Do we need to wait like 10 fucking years between GTA 5 and 6?
Apparently. So once a decade of experience, a new GTA.
Yeah. I'm getting too nasty about this. I felt the podtimism leave my body for a moment.
Hold on, hit your mic stand. We are one with the podtimism.
Come back to us, podtimism. Okay,
hit it again. Hit it again. It's very soothing.
Nice. It is a little soothing.
Oh, man.
The note it hits.
GTA really took us down a dark pathway. Just being a couple of nasty boys.
Yeah.
It's not what you want to be.
I am glad that the people who develop Grand Theft Auto are able to thrive in that success without having to crunch all the time.
It's true. They're living their best lives. Yeah. So really, let's flip this. Let's reframe this to being Rockstar is just doing good by its employees, by still making a bunch of money without just murdering people through labor.
Yep. So sorry if everybody who's working on Red Dead, I know you got just totally screwed. But hopefully things are a little bit easier in GTA land.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Red Dead developers have another 8 years to look forward to of just cruising on Easy Street with Red Dead Online.
I hope so. I'd heard the crunch on that one was not great.
I imagine it was ridiculous, yeah.
Somebody's got to write those songs about building a house.
Somebody's got to get D'Angelo into the studio.
It takes a lot of work to get him into their mic.
He's a reclusive man. It's impressive that they got him to sing a song for that. He's done like 2 albums over like 12 years or some shit. And then he's also done Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm proud of D'Angelo.
It's good. He's a beautiful singer.
Would you like to move on to our next thing?
Yes.
Good Games is back, David, for yet another week.
Where did it go? It was gone for so long.
All right, let me rephrase. Good Games is still here.
Good Games is still here.
The combo has not been broken of Good Games, the segment.
What do you think could break the combo? Well, it's going to be The Last of Us 2.
It's going to be that. It's going to be the hour-long talk we have about The Last of Us. Be prepared. You may need to skip next week if you don't want us to just
watch out, everybody. Watch out.
But this week, no, it's still here. The segment where we talk about the games of yesteryear and gush about all the things we love about them is still here.
Still here.
It's still here.
It's good.
We got a freshie. Not a freshie, actually. It's quite an oldie, but
it's a staley.
It's a staley. Sort of mid-stale. What is the game that we're talking about?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
It's Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. That's the title, right? Playground of Destruction? Okay, I got
Spot of Blowy Uppy.
Spot of Blowy Uppy?
A good, fun place for tear down buildings. Trying to come up with a new phrase here. It's not going great.
Slide of Doom.
That's better than any of the shit I was coming up with. This game hit you with some hot stats.
Hit me with the stats. I love the stats.
I need to get these stingers down because I say hot stats every time. I need some kind of something to put in there.
What do you want? Do you want me to have any stinger voices?
No, it's like I need a sound effect or something.
Hot stats?
Yeah.
You could do like something like sizzling.
I was thinking sizzling. That was my thought.
Sizzling or like steam pressing something.
Okay. Yeah. I'll dig up some free use of burgers being grilled.
Just that first little
hot stats.
Hot stats. And then one of us in the background. Hot stats.
Hot stats.
Mercenaries Playground of Destruction came out on January 11th of 2005.
Okay.
It's a little while ago for, I believe it was both the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. Came out for a couple of them. And it was made by Pandemic Studios. Remember these folks?
I don't know if we should say that studio name right now.
Made by the Inside Times Studios.
Inside Times Studios. Corona Studios.
It's really topical. No, they had been around since like 1998, been making games for a little while.
I do remember them. They had some good games.
They did, yeah. They were most notable for the Battlefront games. They made all those.
Oh, they made the first Battlefronts, huh?
They did.
Whew, those are some heaters.
Those were some good games. They made the Star Wars The Clone Wars game, which was pretty good.
Okay.
They made Destroy All Humans, which was also pretty good.
That's coming out with a remaster soon.
I'll put the stinger there.
Remaster.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. And the last game they made was The Saboteur. Do you remember that game? It was like the World War II game set in France, I think it was.
Yeah, I do remember. I didn't play it, but I remember it.
I played it a little bit. It was, it's similar open worldy kind of thing.
Open worldy, do whatever you want kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think the reviews were like mostly positive. I think this is one of the better reviewed games that we've talked about. It sits kind of at like the high B range.
Okay.
So pretty good game as far as reviews go. I have a review from Joe Video.
Joe Video?
Joe Video.
Joe Video?
Joex Video. Joex Video.
Oh, okay.
Jouer video.
Is this French?
I believe this is French. However,
right.
I have mangled this review quite a bit. Short and sweet. You ready for it?
Yes.
They said, people think we understand more war. Anyone who wants to protect their skin can feel the effects of growth and change. More importantly, the game is fun. What do we need? 80 out of 100.
That was it?
That was it. Short and sweet. Don't need much there.
Just ending it with, what do we need? Like a really
It's a deep philosophical question.
philosophical question. Really got philosophical in that review.
Yeah.
Man.
I appreciate them asking the big questions here.
What do we need? That's what I want from a Mercenaries review. What do we need in this life?
Fun fact before we get too much more into it, this game was originally banned in South Korea when it came out.
Didn't it take place in North Korea?
Yeah, it depicts a war between the North and the South. And I kind of understand the South being like,
Yeah, we can't have this in this country. It's a very delicate geopolitical situation with our neighbors to the north. So
yeah,
we are not going to do that one.
Let's go ahead and put the brakes on that one. So I kind of get it. Usually
Very
I feel
fair.
like I don't
Very
get like
fair.
video game censorship, but like, okay.
The Oons are not a forgiving or understanding bunch, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What is this game? Can you explain it to me?
It's essentially Grand Theft Auto in a war zone where you play as a mercenary. So you can steal all sorts of different military vehicles. You have a bunch of crazy guns and weapons and explosives. You can fly helicopters. But it's big draw. And this is something that's very specific to its time as to what its big draw is that their thing was that like every object could be destroyed, could be blown up.
Yeah.
That was their big thing, right? Because this was a time in games when people were trying to show that you could walk around and interact with environments in a different way as opposed to just everything feeling like it was made out of concrete, like including the trees and stop signs and just like things that are flimsy in real life and should be destroyed by an RPG but wouldn't be.
Yep.
So there was this weird kind of probably 2 or 3 year period where games were just touting how destructible their environments were. And Black, the game,
I was just about to mention, the video game Black
was also a huge part of this kind of movement of destructible environments and just interacting with environments that way.
That one was sort of on the end of the train of all this stuff.
It was one of the last ones that really kind of touted that.
Yeah, because you're right that there's a couple of years there where that was like everything. Like physics and particle engines were like a big deal that people were talking about.
Yep.
So like the technological leap into being able to like model physics and like buildings being destroyed was like a big deal.
It was a big deal, yeah.
Which is very strange in hindsight. Like,
and now
it's a strange
like,
thing to get so excited about. But like there was a lot of games that I was like, oh fuck yeah,
I was
that's
stoked
cool.
on it because it really changes how the game is played. Because instead of just being in these very static, like I said, concrete environments, where it's like you play GTA 3 and you hit a trash can, a shrub, and you go flying out of your car. You're just like, that's ridiculous. That wouldn't happen. Whereas nowadays, if you hit a shrub and like one leaf isn't moving, the people on the internet will be like, "What is the fuck's going on with these physics?"
Literally unplayable.
Literally unplayable. I can't play this game because the leaf physics are so bad.
Yeah,
it's just like, I don't know. I'm being a nasty boy right now. I'm sorry. but yeah, that was its big draw. Was destructible, interactable environments, right? That are supposed to be more immersive with how you shoot them, essentially.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I wrote down a couple of things of like what I liked about this game, and what sort of the gushy segment here.
Yeah,
I know the intention of this game was to do this, but I think even more so in hindsight, it like shows its colors a little bit. So like this I had written down that this was like kind of the logical conclusion of the GTA model of video games, where like destruction is the point of the game. I feel like GTA 3, it had a story and everything, but it was mostly just excuses to go like blow something up or like crash a car or do something crazy.
Yeah.
And that's sort of different than like even, GTA San Andreas or like 4, where it was like, we're kind of trying to tell a story here.
Yeah, exactly.
We're using the game as a way to get across a narrative. Whereas I think this one just leans real heavy into the fun is blowing things up. And that's pretty much all we're going to do here.
Pretty much.
And so like, I kind of like that it doesn't take itself so seriously in that way.
No, it's a very silly game.
Mm-hmm.
It's very silly, very kind of lighthearted. It's not trying to tell a serious story. It's not trying to make a statement on anything, really. It's just, here's a silly story, and here's a bunch of things to go and blow up in the environment.
Yeah.
Go crazy. Okay.
It's like no other game usually stands up to the description of sandbox game, but this one definitely did. Of like, I kind of feel like I can really do whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
The like main way you get like money and points in this game is to like go attack other like little like outposts and stuff like that. There's essentially like 5 factions warring in North Korea in this game. And so you want to go like impress one of them. And so you'll go, blow somebody else up or something like that, which I think if this game came out now, it would be a huge bummer.
Yeah.
But
this was back when that was actually kind of a novel idea for
when like political war games were like they didn't have to take themselves all that seriously, and people were like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And so like, it just sort of comes off as a little cartoony, and like, I think like rightfully so. Like if somebody tried to pitch this game right now, I think a lot of people would be like, I don't know if that's really the right time for this. But I think video games were just not quite mature enough to be like having that conversation. And as a result, like the game is maybe through just it being out long enough now kind of gets away with it a little bit. But the end result is that it's just fun to play this game. It's fun to blow stuff up. They also had a couple of things that I thought were kind of novel for their time. They had that like deck of 52. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do remember that.
It was like, yeah, you like kind of had to like go and find these like North Korean commanders to go and fight and like either take prisoner or, collect a bounty on them or something like that. And then it played out as like a 52 card deck of people that were wanted and dangerous.
Exactly.
And I thought, that was pretty cool for an achievement boy like myself to be able to check things off a list. But it reminds me a lot of like the that like system in Shadows of Mordor, where like there's a bunch of little underlings that you have to fight until you get up to the main dude. That one, of course, being like dynamic, where there's dudes kind of coming in and out of the system, whereas this one is static. There's only a certain amount of guys, but I still thought that was kind of a novel thing to do, and to make it like each of these people has like a bio and a background, and like they're people inside the universe. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, it gives a little bit of depth to it, just a little bit, just enough.
Yeah, that was cool. And also like the physics are fucking good in this game. I was watching like videos of some dude who like was in a helicopter, and he like grappled a car from the helicopter and was like swinging it around, shit like that, and threw it into a building. I was like, it's pretty cool. Like it kind of plays a little bit like Just Cause in that way.
It's very similar to Just Cause. I feel like this is kind of a spiritual predecessor to Just Cause in many ways.
Definitely. There's like a lot of the same DNA from that game seems to kind of run through this one. I don't know if there were any people who worked on both games, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
I would not be surprised at all, because he's a mercenary. He goes into different locations and it's a sandbox. You just go and you fuck shit up. That's what you do. That's the whole draw of the game. Yeah.
What are some things that you were like a big fan of in this game?
Things that I was a big fan of. That it was a GTA style game that was rated T for teen, because I was a teenager and my parents would not buy me M for mature games at this time.
Yeah. Yep.
So it let me kind of hijack cars and run around and blow stuff up to my heart's content, without also allowing me to proposition women of the night, which is something that my parents would not have been very keen on at that stage of my development. Which is, looking back on it, very fair on their part. But that was probably one of my biggest draws to the game. It was an open world sandbox game that was accessible to me.
It's interesting that like those kind of games were really gated for a little while.
They were. Everyone had to be like GTA, so everyone had to be like very mature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there was a handful of games around then that were like only for adults and stuff like that. I feel like it's very rare to have a whole genre of video games only playable by a certain sect of the community.
Yeah,
they don't really do that anymore.
Not that way anymore, for sure. Yeah.
Like Fortnite could be a very violent video game, but it is not. It is cartoony and silly, and so a bunch everybody can play that game.
Yep.
Versus Grand Theft Auto 3 and all of the like were incredibly popular, but supposed to only be played by
adults.
Kids or adults rather. Yeah.
This game is only for kids. Only for kids. What are games that would only be for kids?
I mean, League of Legends is like an obvious one.
Okay, all right, I'm done. That's good. That was good enough.
You gave me a soft pitch over home plate.
That is the answer I was looking for.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Like you were able to get access to a kind of game that wasn't really available to you at the time. So it's interesting.
And then I did like the driving physics were decent enough. Like it was fun to drive around. There was a wide variety of vehicles to be in. A good variety of guns to use. The story was compelling enough, and then the faction section of it was interesting, right? Back then, that was a novel idea, so it was fun to choose sides and feel like you have some sort of agency in this world.
There aren't a ton of games that do this all the time, but any games where you can sort of like maintain and take over territory. God, I just don't know why that's... Oh, wait, no. I do know why that's satisfying, because I'm a little achievement boy, and I want to see the whole map go from the bad color to the good color.
I remember how obsessed you were with the Soul Calibur arcade game?
Oh, yeah, baby.
You
got to take over the map.
You were into it. You were showing me all your tricks about how to make your AI really powerful.
Yeah, you can, like, cheese your AI to train it so that it'll like, take over the map better when you're not there at the arcade.
Yep.
Silly young boy. I'm sort of the same thing now. There was a section in San Andreas that functioned like that too, where you were like fighting for Grove Street, and you would like go take over other parts of the city, and your territory would show up on the map. So I was all about that. I don't know if there's quite the same territory mechanic in this one, but I do remember that like there was some form of like leverage that a certain faction would get when you did something that would like kind of make the other faction angry or whatever.
Gotcha.
So it's good stuff.
Why haven't they done a GTA San Andreas remaster?
I'm assuming the technology is just kind of tough to port. You'd have to do a lot there.
I would definitely play. I never played San Andreas.
Yeah. I think that one was the strongest of the PlayStation 2 era Grand Theft Autos.
I never played really any of them. I mean, I played them at your house.
Yeah.
But I never played them.
Yeah.
Come on, Rockstar. I'm trying to speak this into existence like I did with Crash Bandicoot. Let's make this happen, guys.
Yeah, hopefully they'll announce it between now and next week.
Comes out 1 week after GTA 5 on the PlayStation 5. So ridiculous.
So, a couple feedback items about this game. Not negativity, but just talking about how it's aged. The game is so deeply brown. The color scale in this game is just gray and brown. And like that era of video games was steeped in this gray brown scale that it's hard to look at now.
Yeah, the whole game kind of takes place in a murky pond.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's not pretty to look at.
It's not pretty to look at. So I think if they were doing another Mercenaries, I would hope that it's not quite as like desolate as this one was.
Didn't they do a recent sequel?
They did. So Mercenaries 2 was a thing.
Yeah, they did. They did a Mercenaries 2 like kind of soon after the first one.
I think so, yeah.
But then they did one kind of more recently, didn't they?
They were going to, and they didn't.
Oh, it got canceled, huh?
Yeah, so let me see. Mercenaries 2 World in Flames came out in 2008. So
3 years.
Like 3 years after this one.
Okay, sounds about right.
There's all these stories that roll around about EA buying companies and killing them, and I think, unfortunately enough, that may actually be true of Pandemic, the company, because they put out all these games and then they just canceled the next Mercenaries game.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of people that worked at this company too. There was like 1,500 people that somehow worked at Pandemic. Whoa, and so EA was like, actually, no.
Did they just lay them all off?
I think they tried to incorporate some of them into the company, but from what I was reading, they laid a ton of people off. Yeah.
Ugh.
A little greasy, a little slimy on that one.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And again, I know they're trying to improve their public-facing reputation, but that's pretty rough, man.
Don't make apologies for them, Jace.
That's fair, yeah.
They are... We are the Podtimists, and they are the nasty boy of video games. Okay, so we can call them out. That's fine.
That's fair.
That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they were going to make another one, but it just never fell through.
That's a bummer.
Something else that I was thinking about when like looking at this game was that it looks a lot like Far Cry as far as like how the game plays out. Like this kind of open world. The draw of the game is like kind of the fun guns and the vehicles and shit like that.
Go and capture outposts.
Yeah, and like there's these dudes who you sometimes have to like hunt and fight and stuff like that. It's definitely, there's a lot of DNA of this game in Far Cry, but I think as a result this game probably hasn't aged nearly as well as some other contemporaries that it had, because games like Far Cry and frankly a lot of the games that Ubisoft puts out in general, they've like figured out that formula, the open world kind of exploration task-based video game.
Task-based.
I mean, truly, right? Like there's all these markers on the map that you got to go do.
You got it. You got it.
And so like because of the strides that they've made in this genre, this game looks pretty old by comparison. Like there's not as much to do on the map. Like the weapon and vehicle scope is limited a little bit more comparatively. What, you know, compared to something like Katamari Damacy that's still incredibly fun today in the original form that it's in, because nobody else made any fucking Katamari Damasys.
It is an original.
It's an incredibly original game, but this one, I think rightfully so, a lot of people have, you know, kind of played on this formula. And so this game looks older by comparison.
There's been a lot of riffing and improving on the formula that they laid out here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Other than like, I know GTA was like a really big part of the formation of this kind of game. Can you think of anything else that's like kind of like this though? I feel like this genre of video game was the thing on PlayStation 2, the like open world game.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see if there's any lineage to any other older systems.
Older systems than the PlayStation 2?
I guess so. Even like PlayStation 1 or like Nintendo or Super Nintendo or some shit.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's like the groundwork. You could argue like Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Right? Because it did have that kind of open world feel. Much smaller. You couldn't really interact with things besides enemies. But it did have one large world that you would go through.
I think there's a lot of emphasis in this kind of genre on the simulation part of it. Like that these are real world places and vehicles and guns and stuff like that. Like it's supposed to be a sort of representation of the real world. Even like Simpsons Hit and Run, you were mentioning before that was kind of like GTA.
Yeah.
It's still a very similar thing, right? Like there's driving and there's kind of punching and you go and do tasks and do certain things.
It's like GTA for kids. 100%.
Pretty much. Yeah. I think that the Zelda comparison is fair in the sense that like the world is open, but for whatever reason, everybody got a taste of that GTA DNA and they're like, let's do this for a couple of years here.
Just spawned everything.
Saints Row comes to mind.
Saints Row for sure. What's the one where you also do like martial arts?
Streets of LA? True Crime?
True Crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played the one where you were in Shanghai. That one was really good, actually.
Sleeping Dogs?
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs.
That one's pretty good. Yakuza, I think, is kind of in a similar vein.
Similar.
It's got some twists that do make it like those games original, but it's close.
I feel like it's got to have a vehicular component. Yakuza does not, right?
No, for the most part, it's you're walking around.
Yeah.
Mafia, I feel like is pretty close.
Definitely old school. All
the Just
GTA.
Cause games.
Yeah.
I guess Red Dead a little bit, but like obviously it's made by Rockstar.
Yeah.
And then the Far Cry games.
Sounds like a fair list.
Yeah. So I mean, like there are a lot of games who sort of chomped this bit a little bit.
And those are all pretty big franchises.
Yeah, I think people were just fucking hungry for this kind of game, right? Like I think it does represent a sort of sorry to be pretentious, but it does represent a sort of pinnacle of a kind of video game where you can kind of just go into a world and do what the fuck ever. Like I feel like when people say I want to play a video game, sometimes they do talk about like just a separate place that you can rule I guess it's a power fantasy, right? Like most of these games are power fantasies.
Oh, 100%. Where it's just like you are this newcomer to a certain area and you just take over immediately.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the common theme in most of them, I would say, right?
Yeah, like the attainment of power is a big part of a lot of those games.
You come somewhere, you start off with nothing, and then you get everything.
Yeah, it's fair. I think I appreciate Mercenaries for the fact that it is wearing that narrative on its sleeve.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to blow things up, and do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Good on you, Mercenaries.
Sidebar, the UI is rough, man.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. I do not remember the phone that you had to use. Maybe I just blocked it out of my memory.
The menu that you interact with, like the deck of 52 and shit like that, it looks like a Sidekick or like a Razer flip phone or something that you accidentally opened the browser in, and like it's not a great representation.
You loved your Razer flip phone though.
I did love my Razer flip phone. The browser part of it a little less so, but the phone itself.
You were so cool. You were the coolest kid in school.
I worked all summer, man, painting houses. Got to get that Razer flip phone.
Get that Razer.
Do you have anything else to say about Mercenaries' place of blowy uppy?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool, great. Then let's do the next stuff.
Let's do it.
This is tangential to what we just talked about. Usually sometimes we'll have a clever little tie-in where we're like, well, because the last thing we talked about was Mega Man, then the next thing we talk about is not it's the opposite of Mega Man.
So you weren't clever this week is what you're saying.
I got lazy, David. I'm resting on my laurels. We're approaching episode 20 and I don't know how to be fucking original anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to make a podcast good anymore. So
oh, perfect.
We're going to do one of these one-off segments. I don't even have a name for this one.
Okay, can you describe it to me?
So I wanted to talk about our proudest gaming moments. Mostly as a way to hear from other people. I kind of want to hear some folks' proudest gaming moments too.
Okay.
I'll hopefully have posted something on Twitter by now asking for y'all's proudest gaming moments, but we're going to talk about ours here.
Well, it's Father's Day recently. You could just do like, are you proud of me now, Dad? Gamer moments.
Are you winning, Dad? Or are you winning, son?
Exactly.
So yeah, I'd love to just kind of bounce back and forth for a little bit and talk about what you think of when you think of your proudest gaming moment.
Okay, I'm ready.
Do you want me to go first? You go first.
You go first.
Okay. One of the first one that springs to mind is beating Pokemon Red for the first time.
Okay, why is that proud for you?
I was pretty young at the time. Like, I don't remember... There was a period of time, I think, both in my age and in gaming, where beating a video game was an accomplishment.
Totally.
A lot of the times nowadays, you can kind of bash your head against the wall until it's like, okay, I did it, I beat it. Mm-hmm. Versus, like, I couldn't fucking put down Mario when I was younger without, like, using Game Genie or something, or, like, trying as hard as I can to get through Star Fox and just getting my ass kicked. But I think Pokemon was one of the first games that I beat in earnest, like start to finish. I was the only person who played this. I absolutely did not know how to play this video game right. Like in hindsight, I've gone back and like emulated Red before, and I'm like, oh, you don't have to fight the Elite Four 50 fucking times, just buffing up Charizard over and over and over again and fire blasting everybody through there.
Just fire blasting, baby.
Dude,
good
God,
move.
I like used those like items to make it possible to use certain characters' attacks more often.
PP up.
And I boosted Flamethrower up to like 17 or something like that, where you can only usually use it like 5 or 10 times or something. Mm-hmm. And just continued to put Charizard through the ringer.
It was just Charizard? It was the only one who fought?
He was the only one who didn't get one-shotted whenever he was fighting somebody else. Because like, I was... Again, I don't know how to play these games as a kid. I didn't know that, like, I need to kind of balance my team out a little bit. I'm like, no, Charizard's the coolest one, so I'm going to only use him. That makes sense to me.
Makes sense.
I very vividly remember that I was, like, sitting in my mom's car while she was working at, like, this daycare center that she worked at. Mm-hmm. And it was hot as fuck, and I had played Pokemon Red just, like, over and over and over and over again. And I'm sitting in, like, the back of her car laying down, like sweating my ass off because it's like 100 degrees in Sacramento, and like finally getting through and beating Gary somehow, like the skin of my teeth.
Fucking Gary.
Absolutely did not earn the victory, but I was incredibly proud. I remember going and showing my mom and her being like, "Oh, my little Ash," and I'm like, "Fuck yes, fuck yes."
I am little Ash.
I am little Ash. I did it.
I'm a Pokemon master.
I was like 9 or something. I was very young.
Hell yeah.
So that's one of them.
That was good.
Thanks.
Mine is more recent, but also beating a video game.
Yep.
When I beat Sekiro.
I kind of had a feeling that was going to be on there. I also have a FromSoft one in there.
Yeah.
It's tough. Those games are hard.
Those games are hard. Yeah, those games are really hard. This one was the first one that really kind of clicked with me, at least from an enjoyment standpoint.
Yeah.
So I was stoked when I got through the final boss, and I beat that other extra final boss that you could fight, the giant fire demon.
Yeah.
Beat him too. Felt good. It's just a lot of timing and a lot of just sweaty palms and deflecting things at the last second and just frantically running around, but then realizing, hey, I look pretty cool when I'm frantically running around, which is tight. And in particular, I think my most proud gaming moment of that game isn't just beating the whole thing, but beating that fucking asshole on top of the castle.
Genichiro, or whatever his name was.
When I
he's
fought
a total douche.
Oh my god, for some reason, I just had such a tough time with him. But then after that, it was just like, okay, nothing can phase me after this point.
No, you've been through hell.
Nothing
no
else
one's
was
going
as
to be
bad.
able to put it through you again.
The monkey was not that bad for me.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, Genichiro was my breaking point, which is earlier in the game. It's just like, okay, I just gotta, this is what the game's demanding of me. This is what I gotta give back. I must have fought him like a good 50 times.
Yeah, I think it was probably a similar number for
At
me.
least.
Like, good fucking God.
Like, I wanted to tear my hair out. Yeah, because you fight him for the first 2, and then you have that little section where he takes his shirt off and gets all staticky and shit.
Oils up and starts flexing. Goes like, Super Saiyan.
Little did you know I was wearing weighted clothing the whole time.
And then they jumped in the air and started DBZ fighting.
Exactly. But when I beat him at the end of that, I just felt so proud of myself. Just like ridiculously so. And I had to like pause the game and tell Mallory. And I was just like, I beat him, baby. And she's like, oh, good job. And I'm just like, this is demeaning, but also thank you.
I'll take your compliments.
I will take it even though it makes me feel like a child. So yeah, that's my most recent one.
I'll piggyback off that one because I had a very similar experience with Bloodborne. That was the first one that I was able to get through. I got my ass kicked when I played Demon Souls and Dark Souls the first time and gave up. Like, I don't think I can do this. And specifically, because I agree with you, there's the same thing is true of Bloodborne. The final boss was hard, but by that point, I had already been broken. Like, I was a wild horse coming into Bloodborne, and they had already made me like a steed, a stable horse by that point.
I was already a broken man by then.
They
couldn't bring me any lower.
Because I fought Vicar Amelia, this she's a boss in kind of the earlier part of Bloodborne, and like I like played it, and I went through the rounds of like, am I on like a harder difficulty than I thought I was? Am I under leveled? Like, all sorts of bargaining and
just coming to terms with your shittiness.
Kind of, yeah. Like, I was like, there must be some reason that I'm not good at this. And like, I remember Garen shout out of the week that Garen watched me play some of this, and I was like, can you like Google how to beat them? And he was like, I think they're telling you on the internet, you just got to get good. And I'm like, motherfucker, this is not what I want to hear.
You're just like, challenge accepted, assholes.
They put me in a position where you have to move beyond being mad at the video game. Because when you're angry, you're playing shitty. You're not playing well.
Yep.
Whereas with other games, you can kind of just frustratingly, get through them. But for whatever these FromSoft games are like, no, you got to learn discipline and patience if you want to get through this fucking boss fight.
It's like whips you into shape. It's weird.
A little bit, yeah. Like it has to teach you how to play it, and it's fucking hard.
No, you're doing it wrong. Do it right. Learn.
But
try again.
Yeah, in revisiting Dark Souls, Sekiro, any of those other games after having played Bloodborne, I was like, okay, I get this. Like none of those games were frustrating or like really, really awful to me. They were hard, and like it's like you get kind of frustrated in the moment, but then you're like, I know what to do. I fought Vicar Amelia before. I'm just gonna set this down and come back. It's getting under my skin. I have to teach myself discipline.
I'm going
right
to go
now.
meditate for 10 minutes.
Yeah, like I have to go get into my
come
battle
back.
meditation.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
So yeah, Vicar Emilio was one of the ones that got me.
Okay. This is kind of a strange gaming moment. This doesn't totally relate to gaming itself, but video games in general.
Okay.
But when I paid full price for a PlayStation 3, because I saved up my allowance for, I think, 3 years.
It was a lot.
To be able, because rumors started coming out. I'm just like, all right, I'm starting to save up. And then they released the price, and I'm just like, damn, I gotta save up some more.
We ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet. Because with the $600 price tag plus at least like 2 games that I wanted to get and like another controller plus sales tax,
we're approaching $1,000.
we're getting up to like $850, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
I did the calculations. I calculated everything down to tax.
Hell yeah.
And that's the exact amount of money that I saved up for it. And I went in with my cash from my jar that I keep all my money in that says Deadly Farts on it.
Hell yeah. I know that jar. I've seen it.
It's still around somewhere.
Yeah.
And just went in and just laid down 3 years of my life on the counter for the GameStop guy. And he's like, all right, here we go.
I would have so much respect for a kid bringing that sort of fucking cash in if I was working at one of these outlets.
I had a lot of discipline. I had a $20 monthly allowance. I had to save that up for a while.
Yeah, no, that takes some work. $850 at $20 a month is not easy.
No, yeah, it was a process.
Wow.
But I felt pretty good. Felt pretty proud of myself after that. I'm like, I can buy large items.
Yeah, and specifically every dime I am saving goes towards video games.
I didn't have much of a social life beyond video games is what people are learning right now.
Hey man, I get it.
Hey, you get it?
This isn't one of mine, but I remember waiting at the midnight launch for both the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, which was a real thrill. I camped outside of Best Buy, which was a harrowing experience, staying up all night with these nerds,
totally,
including myself, hanging out and being awful to each other.
Being awful to each other?
Most of these people were just much older than me, and so they're telling many stories about drinking and going to parties and your typical mid-2000s nerd combos.
Cool.
Very, very odd watching the sun rise on Best Buy during those days.
And then the sun rised on those beautiful blue and gold letters, and they let us in, and I purchased PlayStation 3.
Let me tell you about another one of mine.
Let's hear it.
Another one of mine was right when I got to UC Santa Cruz for my a video game degree.
Nerd!
We put on a Smash tournament in my dorm hall. And your boy took first place. I couldn't have been more excited about this.
You're in the hyperbolic time chamber for sure.
Up to this point too, this was before Smash 4 had come out, and so we were still playing Brawl. Before I went to Santa Cruz, a significant portion of my life was spent playing Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Oh, I remember.
There was a lot of time spent in that chamber, especially I was only going to community college during summers and stuff. I was ripping fat clouds, fat vapor, my dude.
Yeah, you were.
Smoking the kind.
Smoking the B legits.
Unfortunately enough, this is true. I'm not making a joke. I was just a stinky stoner boy.
I remember these days.
And so much time spent playing Smash Bros.
Oh yeah.
So to go to the dorm halls and finally have it pay off in the form of a tournament win was deeply, deeply satisfying.
It's beautiful. Nothing feels better, honestly.
No, I have played in quite a few tournaments since and get my ass kicked every single time.
Oh yeah.
But that one I got that one in the bag.
They try to make casual conversations with you about frame data, and I'm like, I'm not there, man. I'm sorry. I'm just not there.
Yeah. Mario's spike is pretty cool, huh? Yeah.
He has a cool spike.
That's the kind of conversation I'm trying to have.
So your most recent conversation about Smash Bros.
Yes.
Has made me realize one of my proudest gaming moments. You probably remember. But when I was at grad school, And then I came back up to Sacramento to hang out with you. Came over to your house. Some of your friends from your work were there. You were talking about how you guys play Smash Bros. Together all the time.
At work, like every day.
Yeah,
every day.
Every day. I hadn't played since I'd been in grad school, honestly.
You were out of practice.
Nobody
for sure.
there wanted to play Smash Bros. It was sad. It was a sad time. It was a sad time, Smash Bros. Wise for me.
Yep.
So I think I just had some pent up smashing to do, like a year's worth of smashing just flowed through me in that one night. And I think
you went white behind the eyes.
We played for like a couple hours. I think I lost once or twice.
Once. Yeah, I think once or twice. It wasn't much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I've never played. I've never been that dominant, I think, at anything in my whole life before. It was amazing. I was just like, I don't know what's happening. It was great.
You definitely play a pretty mean Smash game, and you and I had gone back and forth for a while. Like when we were playing Smash 4 a lot, I feel like we were pretty neck and neck a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, you came in and wiped the fucking floor with us that day. I don't know what was going on, but
something in the water. I don't know.
You couldn't have made yourself look cooler.
It was the proudest nerd gamer moment of my life. Probably. It's just like, I look really cool right now. I'm just this guy who comes wandering in out of town. Just fucking
Hey, do you guys want to play some Smash? I never played before.
They call me Big Country in Smash. Yeah,
I mean random. I don't really know how to play anybody. I'm pretty sure you also only played random. Like you did never pick a person.
I only did random.
Oh my god. This is brutal.
Random's my main character. It's sensory overload for me to want to play one character in particular. I let the fates decide, and we go from there.
Get it.
And the fates were with me that day. I remember you were particularly mad at the end of that day.
Yeah. In hindsight, I just wanted to say this isn't normally how it works, but how am I gonna confidently say that at all?
Nobody knows. It was perfect. It was perfect storm. It's perfect storm.
I mean, genuinely, I think you were better at that moment. Is the Podtimistic take? I think you were just good at fucking Smash, and I had either worked myself into a false sense of security and wasn't getting better.
I don't know, because I wasn't playing.
You were studying the blade. We were all inside. Working and talking about Smash.
I was honing my mind.
You were meditating and studying the blade.
I was meditating a lot back then. Maybe that's the secret.
I've got another one.
Okay, let's hear it.
So at some point, you were there for this. We had gone over to Josh Mather's house. Halo was big at the time.
Oh, Halo was huge at the time. It wasn't big. Yeah. It was everything for.
It was kind of the whole thing. I pretty vividly remember that we brought over a couple of Xboxes to play Halo to this person's house.
I think there were 4 Xboxes in total.
There were a significant amount of dudes, so that would have checked out.
There were a lot of dudes.
This is a similar kind of story to yours. We had played more Halo in the morning, and when we woke up and played it, I was playing incredibly dominantly in Halo. I believe Josh Mather was not excited that I was playing quite this well, and so we kept going round for round for round, and I was just wiping the floor. And I try not to be braggadocious, but I think my demeanor sometimes can come off as braggadocious, especially then. Now I'm usually trying to just play conversation and not gloat too much, but I think at the time I was probably at a pretty shit-eating grin that I was doing so well at Halo.
I remember that grin.
After a particularly brutalizing game, this person reached over and bit me.
He bit you?
He bit me on the arm because I had beat him so badly in Halo. He was so frustrated that he was moved to physical violence
with his
over
mouth.
Halo. With his mouth.
I don't remember this at all.
You were there.
I was there? This is one of the few things that you remember that I don't. Wow.
I still carry the scars. And while on the surface, this may seem like a strange thing to be proud of, I had never had this much of a physical effect on someone because of a video game. This is the closest I had gotten to breaking someone through video games.
You know that shit-eating grin you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
I just saw it again just when you said that. It
just
came
a
back.
flash.
It came back. Just a flash. A flash of a memory. Man, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Wow. He bit you.
He bit me. It's nice.
I believe it, though.
So that's one of them.
That's one of them? Okay. My next one's kind of a twofer.
Okay.
So they're about both Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
Perfect, because my last one is about Rock Band.
Okay. So starting with Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Played the ever-loving snot out of this game. To the point where I had to get another guitar controller because mine was broken. Because
you had shredded the first one to
furiously clicked on it.
There were no clicks left.
There were no clicks left. The guitar said, "Please no more. I'm dead already. Just get another one. I'm already dead." But I played so much of this game. It was such a novel, fun experience as a kid.
Yeah, no, and something you could genuinely get better at.
Oh yeah,
despite starting pretty badly.
Totally, I was so bad when I played it at your house for the first time, and then my proud gamer moment.
Yes,
was that I was able to play a whole song without looking at the screen with the guitar behind my head.
Oh my god!
Like that. I played the whole song. 100%.
Do you remember what it was?
100%ed it.
What was the song? Do you remember?
Ooh, my goodness. What could it have been? Oh, I think it was You Got Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest for some reason.
Fuck yeah.
I think it was just easy enough, but also cool enough.
It was in tier 2 of Axe Grinders, so that probably makes sense that it's not the easiest one.
It wasn't the easiest, but it wasn't also like when I started getting like hammer-ons and pull-offs where you really have to time things correctly. But that was a big time proud gamer moment for me. And no one else was around to see it. I was just like, that one's just for me. That one's just for me. And then the Rock Band moment was learning to play the drums on Rock Band.
Yep.
And just going over to Jahan's house. Jahan, shout out. Jahan's listening to this podcast now because he's finished his second master's degree.
Fuck yeah, Jahan.
Good job,
congratulations.
Jahan. Playing through expert songs on Rock Band on drums, and then going over to Jahan's house and be like, oh, I can
play the drums
kind of. Like, I'm not, my technique's all bullshit, but I can at least do three different things. In there. I can at least do 3 different things with 3 different body parts at once.
Yeah.
Which is really what it takes.
I saw you rip Painkiller a couple times on drums.
Painkiller? You mean Panic Attack?
Panic Attack.
That one was another one of those moments like Wii Sports when I first played it, where afterwards I had weird gamer pains. Like physical gamer pains, where it's just like my body was like, no, dude, this is physical activity at this point, and you just aren't there.
Yep. Yeah, Dream Theater song. The
but Jahan was the one who would just like destroy the fucking drums when he would be on there, and like destroy.
Well, he could actually play drums.
Yeah,
so
destroy in the sense.
Unheard of.
Yeah, destroy in the sense that he would do well, but also destroy in the sense that he would just whack the ever-loving shit out of those plastic drums.
He's playing them like real drums.
Where it's like my parents in the like other end of the house would be like, "Hey, could you just do that a little bit quieter, please? We can hear it all the way over here."
Let me tag on my final one because it's very related to what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The pinnacle of my Guitar Hero experience was playing through the Fire and the Flames on Expert.
My goodness, was that Guitar Hero 2 or 3?
2.
2.
It was definitely. I'm pretty sure it was 2.
There's your editing job of the week.
Oh my god. I think I only beat it once. I think I could only do it once. It was Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it very much, but there was like a couple of weeks where that was kind of the only thing I was working on.
I remember you coming back to me like and giving me the updates every week, but like,
yeah,
I got to 90%. I'm so close.
It's like it was there were so many sections of the song that you could feasibly fail on, especially right near the end, because there's like a shitload of hammer-on and pull-offs like that that you have to go down the and right before that there's like 50 notes that you have to hit right, and even if you're doing pretty good and you don't hit most of those, you'll die. And like that part of it I remember just crushing me because you had maybe 3 seconds of the song left. It was in sight but couldn't do it. But yeah, only got that once and was never able to repeat the magic, but good god did it feel good to finally put that song down.
Fucking Dragon Force, so ridiculous.
Yeah, dude.
Good games though.
Good games, though. Do you have your final?
My final one? Probably the first game I ever beat was Jak and Daxter on the PlayStation.
Okay.
So when I beat that game, and I was just like, I beat that all by myself without any guides.
Similar thing to the Pokemon experience.
Yeah.
It's like you finally put your flag in the ground and you're like, I did it. This one is mine.
This one's mine. That was big. That was probably my first proud gamer moment.
I feel like Jak was kind of a longer game too, so you really had to put some hours into that one.
Loved it. It's a great game.
Yeah.
I really went hard on that one.
Well, hell yeah. 10 proud gaming moments.
What are your 10 proud gaming moments, other people listening to this podcast?
Or even one. I would love to hear one.
Yeah. Give us your one, your top 3, 50, whatever you want.
Any. I'll take any number of proud gaming moments.
Mm-hmm. Just let us know.
Okay, with that, let's move on.
All right.
David, we're on Twitter.
Still
on Twitter. Didn't delete the account yet.
Do we follow the president?
The one true president, Hideo Kojima? Yes, we do.
Ooh. I would like that. I think I would like that.
It's not to be political, but he'd probably do a better job.
It would still be as unpredictable, but like in a quirky, lighthearted way.
In a fun way. Sometimes you get a package at your door from the president, and everybody's unclear about what's really in it.
It's just a cat suit.
Figure out what to do with it.
Figure it out.
President's orders.
Are you okay?
We need you now more than ever, buddy. Yeah, we're on Twitter. Go check us out there if you want to. We are now following a bunch of other video game podcasts. So that's what's going on Twitter recently.
Good for us.
Good for us. They're also following us. So what's up?
We gotta follow back.
Sure did. Let me give a couple of shout outs here to be real. The ones who recently have joined the Podtimists cult are the Unknown Games podcast. Go give them a listen. Also the Campfire Gaming podcast. Also Hold My Controller. All good ones. Mm-hmm. Way back in the day, since like March, Mostly Normal Gamers podcasts have been following us. So go say what's up to them. They're all very good podcasts. I was pleasantly surprised that the quality of pod is pretty high out there for the gaming folks. All of them mostly positive folks, which is pretty good.
That's good. Beautiful.
That's good.
We need more of it.
We need more of it. Let's all get a little podtimistic. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a thing. You can email us. I'm not going to tell you what our email is though this week.
Is it vgpodtimism@gmail.com?
It was. I'm not surprised you figured it out. I was going to leave it up to our audience to try and just take some crack shots at it, but
I thought you were putting that up for me.
No, I was alley-ooping it to our audience to see if they could put that one in the hole, but we'll see.
I don't know. I'm trying to spoon feed people still.
That's fair.
Do you have any video game wisdom of the week, Chase?
Okay, we're switching it up again.
Let's hear it.
Let me think. Video games have the capacity to move you. Sometimes they have the capacity to make you angry. You have two choices. You can either beat Vicar Amelia, you can either beat Genichiro, or you can bite another human on the arm. The choice is yours.
Oh, man. That applies to a lot of things in life, really.
It applies to a lot of things. Maybe
you could either
don't go out biting people today, I think.
You could overcome your obstacles, or you just
your frustrations.
Overcome or bite. 2 options.
Sink or swim. Overcome or bite.
Sink or swim. Succeed or bite it.
Shout or chomp. No. Do it or bite. Do it or chomp. Succeed or nibble.
Succeed or nibble.
To quibble or to nibble.
Quibble? Quibble doesn't mean succeed.
Oh, dang it. I just needed something that rhymed with nibble.
To succeed or to need.
What does this mean?
Like you need something, like or like nah. To
wait. To move through or to chew.
That's closer. That's closer.
We're honing in
that
here.
Got me like 90% there.
Need just a little bit more.
To do it or to chew it?
To do it or to chew it. It's the name of the episode. Oh, man. Yeah, no, we got it. That's it. Shut the fucking podcast down. Do it or chew it, man.
Do it or chew it, bro. Come on. Here's my arm. Do it or chew it.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Are you going to do it or are you going to chew it?
You see the scars of all the other teeth that have been in this? A bunch of the people who didn't do it.
They decided to chew it. They chewed it.
They chose to chew. Are you going to do the do?
Now it's a Mountain Dew ad. Thank you for sponsoring this episode, Mountain Dew Code Red.
It's a Mountain Dew times Nike commercial.
Just chew it.
Are you going to do it, or are you going to do the do it, or chew it? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
That's fine. That's enough. Bye, everyone.
See ya.